What's up everybody, this is DeanoGTO. Today we're looking at a subscriber replay, well it's the same as subscriber, but you submit replay, and funny enough this person's name is a new username but with a bunch of like threes and numbers and stuff in it, as you can see there. And they're playing in the Skorpion G, the tier 8 premium tank, not the tier 7 premium tank, because tier 7 is American and it sucks. So, episode 4, first shot of the game. Unfortunately, you can't miss that there because that would have been really handy to have a light tank out of the game this early on this map in particular. So, T71 CMCD right in front of him here, going to try a shot there and whacks him straight in the face for 450 damage. So, already starting off okay because he's managed to, well, take off half the health of the tier 7 light tank. There's another T71 CMCD over there, but he's just gone into like a little like dip. And now there's an M41 Bulldog he's kind of aiming at. So there is going to be a bit of a lull here where he doesn't really do much, at least I assume it's he. And that was a little bit misled. I think maybe he was guessing that he was going to go left instead of right, but instead he turned to the right, and that meant that, well, I'm judging from his direction by the way. And shots like that are always painful. Whenever you aim at a light tank, which you should overmatch everywhere. Like, I think the max armor of a Bulldog is like 38mm, so this gun should be able to overmatch that from everywhere. Yet, shots like that still happen because, well, I think he may have hit the clip of the gun, if I'm guessing. And that shot there, see, this is actually something that's interesting to talk about here. So, one of the things, it's not like War Thunder, you don't aim the gun directly. In War Thunder, you literally have direct control over the elevation and stuff of the gun. One of the tanks is a lot more arcadey, so the gun actually aims its elevation by itself whenever you're aiming at an enemy vehicle. This is something which took me a while to learn whenever I first started out playing this game, because I immediately just thought, because I'd seen other tank games and played things like Battlefield, so I thought you would have to do the elevation yourself, but you don't do it in this game. You have to actually like aim directly at the vehicle instead of trying to like elevate the gun by yourself, and that causes some issues when you're in situations like this one, where you're aiming at the actual horizon, so the gun is actually elevating further than it should be, and that causes some issues when it comes to leading targets that are on top of a hill like that one. So what you typically wind up having to do is you have to aim at the tip of the hill and hope RNG lets the shot go high. Pretty much that's what you have to do. So it can be kind of frustrating and kind of annoying. It's kind of like the only real workaround we really have in the game. So, and by the way, I just managed to talk that entire time, so I don't even have to cut this out. So, yeah, if you go try a shot there in that general direction. STRV was over there. He did guess that shot based off of the mini-map, trying to like lead the shot correctly so that he could potentially do some damage to that guy. And he did go unspotted just as he fired the shot, so there's a chance that it wouldn't give him an audio cue if he did hit him. So, yep. And let's see, anything else going to happen here? Oh right, okay, I remember what's happening now. So he's going to head down towards his base, and by the way, I'm just assuming, going off the assumption that the new username here is a he. I would guess probably 95% of the player base for World Tanks is mid-level dudes, so I'm just going to say he. Specify otherwise if you are sending a replay. So, let's see, try the shot versus the IS. The IS is unspotted, so he does not know whether or not he hit it or not. And now he's going to hang out here, because Skorpion can do a lot of things. The spot is not one of them. The view range on this thing I think is like 360 meters, something like that. It's really, really terrible for a tier 8 vehicle, and you need binoculars in order to be able to get any sort of view range at all. So Batchat 12T is doing the job of spotting. Type 64 gets spotted, and I thought Type 64 initially killed him, but Type 64 gets nuked by artillery. IS was the one to kill that guy. IS takes a 400 damage hit, kind of a low roll, also kind of unfortunate that did not track him. I would have thought that would have tracked that guy, and you know, it's taking 4P. And that was a pretty unlucky shot. See, if that didn't hit the tracks, that would have probably did some damage to that guy, but because it hit the tracks, that activated as spaced armor, which caused that shot not to do any damage, and just track him instead. So let's see, MX 1375 is right there, trying to get the lead on this guy. Moving around a lot, but said you want to see MCD, managed to nail him. See M41 Bulldog on top of the hill again. IS is down towards where those guys are at. T150 actually manages to kill the artillery after the IS gets hit back. SDRBS1 bizarrely is pushing forward. I guess he's just assumed that everything now has a low enough caliber that he'll be able to bounce their shots, which I suppose is relatively true. I think new username here is the only one with a big enough gun to overmatch him, and oh, that's always nice. Getting shots like that is always sweet, where somebody goes unspotted just as you fire, and then you get the kill shot. It always feels awesome to do that. So, let's see, this STRV S1 has been a bit of miscalculation here. So, where it is true that nobody can pin him from the front because he does have 30 armor at an auto bounce angle, it is also true that, well, those tanks he was against are very, very mobile, and the STRV-S1, it's quick-ish, but it's got kind of a slow acceleration, and it's also not the greatest in terms of track traverse. So M41 Bulldog's over there, and it's now 3 tanks versus what's that there, 8 tanks? Jesus, this is a bit one-sided looking, isn't it? Let's see, IS takes a huge hit from this gun again, and yet again, low roll. Where are the high rolls? Jeez. And BK201's right there. That can't be high roll because, well, he only has like 160 health, so it just nails him. Get rid of him. T150 is on 880 health. He was tracked last time he was spotted, so he's going to try a shot in that general direction. And we'll see in a minute whether or not he hit or not. So, now it is 6 versus 3, so it's 2 to 1 at this point in time. Make that 3 to 1. So, yeah, M41 Bulldog is pushing forward. He does not want this MX-1357F to die. If this 1357F dies, that's his eyes gone. Because this thing, as I mentioned earlier, cannot spot. It's got crappy range, and username here is not using binoculars. So this tank view range is absolutely abysmal. So let's see. So 1357 managed to kill the Thunderbolt, and username here managed to kill off Bulldog. So T150 versus 1357F and Skorpion. So pretty one-sided. Tier 7 and Tier 8 versus Tier 6. T150 misses a shot. Username here managed to finish off the T150. So 2 versus 3. Looking pretty solid. Never mind. 3 versus 1. I always forget that stuff like that happens. And 1357F here just says, yeah, they had no ammo left, and yeah, that's unfortunate, because even if he hadn't died, he could have acted as the eyes for the Skorpion G here, because, well, Skorpion G, as I mentioned 3 times now, really does not have very much flexibility when it comes to view range. It really relies on its teammates to spot for it, and it to do the damage based off of that. So we go ahead towards the cap circle here, and not going to go into it because that lets the enemies know where he's at, and basically tips them off to where on the map roughly he'd be, because they're going to assume he's either going to come from the south or he's going to come from the west. So he's going to go into the cap circle here now, pause it, and he spots the Hellcat, and honestly, enemy team had a bit of miscalculation here. If it was me doing this, I would have had one of the artilleries up and kills off the Hellcat with a ram, because, well, the Hellcat weighs nothing. It weighs like, what, like 15 tons? So 40 tons versus 15 tons. Also, the Hellcat only has like 13 armor, so even the Skorpion has double the armor thickness of that. So yeah, no risk whatsoever to let to ram the Hellcat, sorry. So it's now an artillery hunt. So in any other Tier 8 vehicle that wasn't Swedish, pretty much, or there wasn't a Swedish TD, pretty much, this would be pretty much a win, because he has nearly all of his health and really has played well up until this point. However, this is a Skorpion. I think the Skorpion has 30 hull armor and has like 18 turret armor. It's very likely that the artillery could still win this, even though he's got nearly all of his health. It's still a pretty significant possibility that the artillery could still win this on their own. It is an S-51 who could have a 203mm gun, and an M44, which has a really fast rate of fire from what I've seen of it on other YouTube channels. Like Agent Jedi made a video on like the most profitable vehicles, and the M44 was #1, and not including when you include artillery. So yeah, M44 has a ridiculous reload speed. S51 is right there. M44 is behind him. Misses the shot on the S51. S51 takes off his tracks and he rams in, does 71 damage, and he actually loses quite a lot of health. And M44 loses a bunch of health from ramming him as well. And M44, see, artilleries, you could have won this. You really could have won this. But the M44, I didn't even see him fire, so I have no idea what happened there. And the S51 was a little too aggressive there. I think the S51 and the M44, I think, were a little too aggressive there at the end. They could have won this, but because they pretty much rammed a vehicle which is like 40 tons, and I think even the S51, even though it's based on a heavy tank, I think that thing's only like 30-40 tons. Yeah, that wasn't ever going to end well when you go ramming a vehicle that can do 60 kilometers an hour, can outmaneuver you relatively easily. So, yeah, artillery's kind of blew that at the end. They probably could have won that, and and honestly, username there had exactly the same reaction as I did the first time I watched this here. I honestly kind of wish I recorded my first watch of this, because I was like, holy shit, are you going to, what? He's going, like, I was honestly thinking that he was going to die, but then I realized, nope, I've seen the results screens of Tank CG. I know he's going to win this here, but Jesus, that was fucking close. But yeah, let's go on to the post-game stats here now. Okay, so we are back with the result screens. So this game was worth First Class Mastery, Scucci Medal, High Caliber, and Top Gun. So, XP wise, this was 3,608 XP with 154,961 credits made. As for that shot earlier on in the game with the STRV M42, unfortunately it was a miss, because the only shot that actually landed on that tank was the kill shot. Even it would have been interesting even to see if it was like a tracking shot or something, but unfortunately I guess it was probably close, but unfortunately it missed. So let's go on to the team scores. So new username here came top of the team, 1,145 XP with 3,831 damage done and 7 kills. As for the enemy team, the highest XP was actually the artillery, the M44, with 1,396 damage done and 580 XP. So I'm assuming he did quite a lot of stunning damage, which is something that's not particularly difficult in this vehicle because it just fires so quickly. That tank fires insanely fast for an artillery piece. I think somebody told me it rivals the Burt in terms of rate of fire and stuff. It's mental. Second place was actually the S51, so pretty heavy artillery influence from the enemy artillery. And third place was the STRV S1, who I would argue probably cost the enemy team that game because he rushed into 2 light tanks in a Swedish tank destroyer that needs to use assault mode, or no, siege mode, in order to shoot the gun pretty much. So kind of unfortunate, but I think he may have cost the enemy team that game. As for new username here, he came top of the team. Second place was the MX1357F, and third place was the T71 CMCD. I thought this was ordered by XP in Tanks GG, but I clearly didn't do that properly, so yep, apologies for that. And let's see, let's go on to the next screen. So 21 shots fired, 14 direct hits, 11 penetrations, 3,831 damage done overall, and 2,068 done from over 300 meters. So you can see the sniper characteristics of this tank coming in there. He killed 7 of the 10 vehicles which he managed to hit, and 270 assistance damage. So you can clearly see here this tank's not particularly good at getting assistance damage unless it's through tracking and stuff we got there, which I would assume is probably, yeah, the tracking shot was actually the assistance damage they got in that game. Now, when it comes to the credits and XP and stuff, so the credits were 103,307 base with 51,000 extra, so I'm assuming a 50% bonus to credits, would give him 154,000 credits overall, and after the reductions are deductions from the cost of running the vehicle, 115,000 credits made in that game, so pretty handy profit there, with 1,718 XP with the bonus from premium account, and then pretty much double that, and you get 3,608 including the premium tank bonus, because premium tanks get a natural little bonus to their XP, each game. So let's see, anything else I really need to say there? So yeah, that was a pretty impressive game to watch there, because I personally am really bad at this whole stealthy gameplay thing. Uh, I'm not very good at being able to sit back and let my team push forward themselves, because I feel like my teams are usually too campy and they won't push forward when I feel like they need to. So I'm typically the one always to lead the charge, which usually winds up in me dying, but usually my team winning. So take from that what you will. So I am working on trying to get better at this sort of playstyle. It's something I don't do particularly often, but I am going to try and actively get a little bit better at the sniping playstyle, because I feel like we've got a bit more diversity to the types of gameplays I actually show on the channel. They're actually by me, because I think most of the sniper gameplays I've showed on my channel have been pretty much just subscriber games, because I think there's one other Skorpion G game that I've showed that was a sniper, well, sort of sniper game as well, and then I think there was one more, but I can't think of what it was for the life of me. So, so yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So thanks very much to you new username for sending in that replay. It was a pleasure to watch and a pleasure to show. Let me know what in the comment section what you guys thought of it, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.